Hi, I'm Brian Crombie, and we're going to be talking on the Brian Crombie Show. We're going to be talking about politics, arts, business, and social issues on the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. You know, I love that line that I think was from Monty Python about, and now for something completely different. Well, tonight we're going to do, and now for something completely different, because I want to introduce you to Rebecca Knoll, who is a fitness competitor. And she's got this fascinating story about why she decided to get into fitness and how she got into fitness. And now she's like going for like the top rungs of the fitness competitor world.
That's the idea, yes.
Fantastic. So thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting.
I always get mixed up because I want to say Knoll rather than Knoll.
Well, my dad always says only if you say knife.
So it's Knoll, not Knoll.
That's right.
Thank you.
Right.
So how did you get into being a bikini fitness competitor?
Well, it started, I was in a car accident actually, and I had damaged my right hip. And then I had gone through all of the rehabilitation. I've tried all kinds of different modalities, doing a physiotherapy, acupuncture, and then I found a personal trainer, Carol Reed. And I started going to Carol Reed, and we started working through the pain and working through my joints again. I also started going to osteopath at that time. It was actually like months later because it was Carol that got me back into the gym and got me moving again.
So you had been in the gym before. So fitness wasn't a brand new thing. It was just something you came back to.
No, but it was more, it was less of a hobby than it is now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you got back in, and then when or how did she say you should start competing?
Well, I had seen an ad and I was actually thinking more of her. And I said, you should be doing this. She said, no, you should be doing this. And I was like, oh, great idea. Let's do this. So we started looking into different associations and we landed on Ultimate Fitness Events. It's a completely natural association, which I preferred. So there's no one that's doing steroids. You're looking for more natural ways to enhance yourself. And it's more about the hard work, not that it's not still hard work when you're on steroids, but I had decided not to go that route. So it takes a little bit longer. Well, it takes longer. It is a bit harder, but it's also not as good for your liver. So you get, and there's a lot of other byproducts that happens in your body.
You start to age. Lowers women's voices.
Yes, that has happened to a couple of my friends as well.
Yep.
You do see a lot of facial structure changes as well. A lot of times women will lose a lot of collagen in their face and they lose that soft look. I prefer the soft look in myself, so I decided not to go the steroid route and to maintain the natural.
So tell me a little bit about your fitness regimen. Like you're pumping iron every day?
I am. And there are some people that will say that, you should be taking it one day off a week, but I'm working out maybe an hour and a half every day. I'm not in the gym for 4 and 6 hours. So maybe a pro athlete that's doing this for a living, should be taking a complete day off. But I'm doing just an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours when I'm really prepping for a competition. But for the most part, that's about the time.
So I know nothing about this, but I interviewed a physician last week who told me a lot of people do exactly what you're saying and they don't realize that the recovery is actually the most important time for your health and for your body.
Absolutely.
That if you're working out all the time, all you're doing is tearing your muscles, stressing your muscles.
That's right.
If you don't give yourself that time to recover, and from a health standpoint, and he was more interested in health than from a fitness, he says you actually don't improve your health with working out. You improve your health with the recovery time. It's the stress and the what you do to your body when you're working out that causes pain to your body. And it's the recovery time that actually helps your body in the future become more healthy.
Absolutely. And so to combat that, I've started to look into additional people to help me out besides just Carol. So I've connected with Marie Gold. So she's a fitness competitor and she's an RN as well. And so she does NAD injections and glutathione.
What's NAD?
NAD.
NAD.
So it is it's an IV injection that goes directly into the bloodstream. It's naturally occurring in your cells already, but it helps produce your cells' energy levels. So your recovery time is less.
Mm-hmm. And tell me about some of these competitions. Like, you're out there walking around in a little tiny bikini.
It's true. I don't think
and you have to do like the
a little bit. Well, there are different levels. So I'm at the bikini level. I call it the no. Everybody doesn't like my joke, but I say it's the fat girl category because there's higher fat to muscle ratio. And as you go up in the levels, you reduce your fat more and more and you increase your muscle. So
and that's not the bikini contest then?
Well, it still does. But again, as you go, if you're in fitness, if you're in physique, if you're in the larger bodybuilding categories, that's when you see a much less fat than I have on, and much more
less
lean.
fat than you?
I know. That's why it's just a joke. I know I'm not fat, but I call it the fat girl category.
And what are these competitions like? Are they they seem pretty intense?
They are very intense, and I actually just got my my pro card, and so you have people who are very, very focused, but a great thing about the UFE Association is the camaraderie. And so backstage, people are fixing each other's suits. They're looking at each other. They're making sure everybody's there. Where's the girl that's supposed to be behind me? So even though it is a competition, we want to make each other better. And so we really are sharpening each other and want to present the best that we can be. We don't want it to be easy. We want it to be hard.
This is more than a hobby.
Well, I hope so.
You're there all the time.
I am, and I love it. It just, there's something about it. Like even backstage, even though you're not wearing a lot, like there's no like sexual tension or anything between different competitors because you're so focused, and there's so much energy that has gone into that moment on stage that just everything else disappears when you're out there.
Rebecca Knoll, thank you so much for sharing this with us.
No problem.
We're going to take a break and come back more with Rebecca. We're going to talk about fitness for all of us because in addition to her using fitness to become a very successful fitness competitor, she knows a lot about fitness, and we're going to ask her a little bit about that. Stay with us, everybody. We're going to be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back, everyone, to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. We're chatting tonight about fitness and health, and I'm talking about extreme fitness and health with Rebecca Knoll, who is a bikini fitness competitor. And it started, I guess, Rebecca, because of this car accident. But you also told me an interesting story once as well about a broken relationship, and you wanted to sort of prove to the guy that you were spectacular, and he didn't.
That's right. So it was part of it. I needed a new focus. I needed a place to be. And it was definitely a part of that healing process, being able to be the best that I can be. And so it definitely was part of that.
And as he called you back later and said, I made a really stupid mistake.
Of course, they all come back. So, yeah, but I mean, it's okay. Like now, because I've done so much with myself and I've done the healing, I just feel like I'm in a different platform in a different area.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. So not me, but let's think about somebody, maybe, another female in her 30s or something like that. That really wants
Backside to get of 40, here we come.
That really wants to get into to fitness, or someone in their 40s that really wants to get into fitness. What would be the stages? What would be your recommendation of what the things to do? And not only in fitness, but also I remember a prior conversation, you're really into nutrition as well.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about both.
So Nutrition is a huge part of it. You just can't outrun the kitchen. So you.
That's a good line. You can't outrun the kitchen.
No.
Is that your line? That's a great line.
I don't know if it's my line or not. It just came out, but
I got to remember that.
Yeah,
I got to put that sign on my fridge.
That's right. Before you go in there, because it's all about calories in and calories out when you're first starting.
Right.
And calories in, calories out is what Carol says all the time. In my position is I didn't want to lose any more weight. I wanted to gain muscle mass. But when you're first starting out, generally speaking, usually people are looking to drop the weight. So you need to be very mindful about what you're putting into your body and what you're fueling yourselves with. You need to be fueling yourselves with the proper nutrition in order to be able to do a proper recovery period.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then tell me about fitness. What do you do to start out with? You go straight into the weights? Do you do cardio as well? Like what?
Cardio is going to help you drop the weight. So I don't do as much cardio because as a lot of the other girls at the gym that work with Carol, because a lot of the other girls are trying to reduce the fat. And so when you're doing that when you're doing cardio, that reduces your fat intake. You can also do cardio with weightlifting, and that's my type of cardio at this time. And
cardio with weightlifting.
That's right. So
like
you
what?
do
Give me an
something
example.
with high reps, using a TRX when you you're using your triceps with a TRX above your head, using your own body weight against you, doing that over multiple times. And so that brings up your heart rate into a space where your body can then reduce the fat.
Now, one of the secrets I think that you mentioned to me before is finding that right trainer and a gym that you're comfortable in. It's not like a meat market gym, but it's a gym you feel comfortable in. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Because you do go into some gyms and there is a lot of grunting and a lot of chalking with the heavy weights. I've found my niche with Carol in her gym as there were all women that work out together, but we're all coming from different areas. A lot of the women that come there are looking to drop that last 10 pounds before the wedding day. And then there's other women that are looking to lose a baby fat, other women that are trying to get pregnant.
Right.
And they're just trying to be more healthy before they get there. And then there's people like me.
Does working out help you get pregnant?
Well, to be healthy,
to
get there. So it's all part of it, being more holistic about your body care.
Okay.
I would also suggest that I go every day to the gym, but I didn't start out doing that. So I started out going 1 to 2 days a week.
Do you go first thing in the morning, at the end of the day? What?
A lot of arguments say that you're supposed to go first thing in the morning. That doesn't work for my body. It doesn't work for the way that I work out. So I need to go in the evening. When I've tried to go early in the morning, I just don't get the same pump.
So do you have to skip today?
I did have to skip today. I texted her. I was like, I gotta go see Brian today. Sorry.
We feel very honored.
Yes.
Now, what about nutrition? Are you into like keto or Atkins or intermittent fasting or any of that kind of stuff?
So to drop the weight, intermittent fasting is, I think, the way to go. Again, because I'm building and not dropping the weight, I don't do intermittent fasting for myself. And it's more about clean eating and watching what I'm putting in my body. I'm always watching the amount of carbs. We still do need the carbs. So I don't get too heavy into a keto diet because you still need the carbs to be able to think, and you still need that in your body. So I don't like to cut out something completely because I don't want to sit down at a dinner, with the family and then eat a piece of bread, and now my body doesn't even know how to break that down anymore. You do need to be very careful about the way that you cut things out. And two, I still go to a holistic doctor, and getting my blood levels checked to make sure, just like the doctor that you said that you had on before, to make sure that all these recovery periods I'm still being healthy as I'm doing it.
What's the next big goal?
Well, I have my third publication coming up. I do have my pro card now, but I would like to start using my pro bikini platform for business. So whether that's starting a clothing line or working with supplements. That's, I think, the next hurdle for me.
Awesome. If people want to follow you on social media or things like that, because you post a lot of your competitions and things like that, is that something you welcome?
Absolutely. It's at Rebecca_Knoll, KNOLL, on IG.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it.
So I really wanted to introduce you to Rebecca Knoll because, she hasn't told you a lot about it, but she had this big breakup, and she wanted to sort of prove to herself and prove to him something different. And she told me that story once, and then she had a car accident on top of that, and she really had to improve her health in a lot of ways, and found that the fitness and the working out was the way to do it. And she did both, and she's turned her attitude, her self-image, which was probably never bad, but improved it fairly dramatically. And she's achieved great success. And she's talked a lot about fitness, and she's talked a lot about nutrition. And all of us could learn something about that fitness and nutrition. Believe me, I love the line about you can't outrun your kitchen. And I think that working out in the morning or working out in the evening, whenever it's right for you. Intermittent fasting, I think, is a great suggestion. I love my bread, and so still having it and justifying it based on I don't want my body to reject it, but cutting it down a little bit.
That's right.
And I follow Rebecca on social media and see some of her competitions, and it is inspiring. I'm never going to be a bikini model. I'm never going to be a fitness model.
Never say never, Brian.
But it is inspiring seeing some people that can achieve their dreams in whatever way they want to achieve it. And it's wonderful. So, Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ryan.
That's our show for tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Crombie on The Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Good night, everybody.
Hi, Mr.